Thank you for joining us for this episode of Recipe Share, a program on AADL TV where we take a few minutes to talk about recipes in a featured category. Today's category is family cooking traditions. I'm Katie, and as usual, I'm joined today by Elizabeth and Beth to tell us about their recipes. So Beth, tell us what you chose this week.
Okay, first of all, when I asked my family about what they thought of when I said family cooking traditions, they all said, you have to mention that we have pie for birthdays, and that Curtis and my son Nate make pie crust, and that's just been our tradition for many, many years, for forever. Excuse me. So pie for birthdays. The other thing they mentioned was our popcorn. The way we eat our popcorn in our household is it's pan popped, and then we top it and toss it with melted butter, Frank's, and lemon juice, and melt that all together, and then pour it on top, and then add seasoning salt. That's just how we do it. I mean, unless we have a tummy issue, that's pretty much how we make our popcorn in this family. But the other thing, so that's what I was going to share. And then as I was making this spread that I tend to make frequently, I realized I have a family tradition that I eat all the time, and my extended family and cousins do too. It's a Hungarian cheese spread, and it's called korzet. And I looked it up, spelled like this. And the way I've always made it and was taught by my grandmother is with it's like equal parts cream cheese, softened butter, a heavy spoonful of paprika, and then chopped scallions or onions. And I whip that up all the time when I want a little extra on my toast. So the thing is, though, when I looked it up and I got the right spelling, I never knew how to spell it. I learned that it's actually made with goat cheese and sour cream and other ingredients, which I'm completely a fan of. So I will make the authentic version of korzet, but if you look up Hungarian cheese spread, you'll probably find it. And I make it all the time. And I realized that was something I definitely wanted to share with you all. So any questions about korzet or any of the things I shared?
I am wondering, Beth, who first started the popcorn tradition? Like who came up with this?
So a couple things happened. One was I was looking at a really, really old magazine. Okay, this would have been in the early 80s or mid 80s, but I was looking at a magazine from maybe the 70s. And it was there was a lemon advertisement, and they said, sprinkle lemon on your popcorn. So I started it that way. Then I think I saw another recipe somewhere, and it included chili powder. So that's how it's been before we had kids even. I've been making it like that. Try it, it's super good.
I would like to know what your family's most traditional birthday pie is.
I would say cherry pie, because we always try to get good Balaton cherries from up north, and we keep some in the freezer. So that's usually one. I know Nate really likes to get that, but we've had all the pies: apple, coconut cream. Even Nate made a coconut cream for Kurt. He doesn't even like coconut, so we're very vested in our pie traditions. And we also Kurt make his own pies sometimes. We have, but we try not to. Anyway, anything else about our family traditions? All right, I don't think we talked about who's going next. Why don't we say Elizabeth?
Thanks, Beth. So on the topic of Hungarian food, my grandma Helen actually immigrated from Hungary, and she brought with her a lot of great Hungarian recipes. So similar to Beth, I didn't make what I'm about to talk about, But I wanted to preface, growing up, she would always make these two kind of like sweetbreads or desserts, Hungarian nut roll and Hungarian poppy seed roll. And they were fantastic. She used to let us, when we were kids, like help her spread the nut spread on them and do the egg wash and things like that. So I called my mom and I said I wanted to make them. And my mom was like, it's really hard. Like, I don't think that you should try this. And she would make her own dough, and it has to like rise overnight. And it's just kind of complicated to do. So I was a little sad about that. But anyway, maybe one day I'll give it a try. But what I did make is actually my mom's vegetarian lasagna that she invented. It's not really traditional vegetarian lasagna. My mom is a fantastic cook, but also is a practical lady. So this is just what we used to have a lot of the time on a weeknight for dinner. And essentially, I took some photos, which we can share here because I took a photo of each step. But you grease a baking dish, and then you layer in a couple tortillas to cover the bottom, and then a layer of fresh spinach, and then half a jar of salsa, and then a can of black beans, and then some shredded cheddar. And then you do that another time. So it's kind of really easy. Like, it takes like 4 minutes to put together. You bake it at 375 for about 20 minutes. The cheese on top gets nice and bubbly. The edges of the tortillas get kind of crispy. And then we always top it with some fresh, like I topped it with fresh tomatoes and cilantro and a little bit of sour cream to kind of add that like fresh herbiness, and the tomatoes are really good. And it's super easy. It's one pan. It's my mom, I'm pretty sure, invented this because I was asking her where she got it from. And she was like, I just put everything in a pan. And it's really tasty. I've given the recipe away a lot over the years. It's great if you need to bring food to someone because it keeps pretty well. So yeah, I made it last night, took some photos. It was really good. And that's what I made for my family recipe.
Okay, I cannot wait to try this. I'm so excited about this recipe. It sounds to me like some recipes that I've seen that are like enchilada lasagnas, where you just are basically making enchiladas, but you're not folding them up. But it doesn't have like the enchilada flavors, which I'm not a huge fan of. So, and also anytime somebody says to me, veggie lasagna, my brain kind of shuts down because I'm like, here comes the zucchini, because I do not like zucchini at all. But I was so happy to hear that it doesn't have zucchini, it doesn't have noodles in it. So I'm like, I'm down with this. I'm so excited to make it. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I want to say that sounds delicious, but I did not know you had a Hungarian background, Elizabeth. And my grandmother made those same things, a very intense baking days with the poppy seed and nut rolls. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, that sounds really good. I look forward to making that too.
Thanks. Yeah, and you can top it with, like, sometimes I squeeze some lime over it. If I have an avocado, that's really good too. It's pretty flexible. So yes, and one day I will attempt the Hungarian nut and poppy seed rolls, but maybe not when it's 90 degrees outside and my kitchen is not that big. So anyway, Katie, over to you.
Okay, so the recipe that I am sharing today is a cheese ball. It is my husband's recipe. It is traditionally served on New Year's Eve, but it does make an appearance at other gatherings throughout the year sometimes. I actually never made this, so I've eaten a ton of it. I have seen it come together a bunch of times, but I've never actually personally made it, and I bet that I never do. I'll continue to eat it though, but I can tell you what to do. So you basically take cream cheese, mayonnaise, Worcestershire sauce, and garlic powder, and you put them in a stand mixer bowl if you've got one. If you don't, a hand mixer will work, but you're gonna need something with a motor because the mixture is thick. I don't think that you could just work this with a spatula. I mean, you could try, but then you're gonna finally chop up some green onions, put those in the bowl. You're gonna shred up a block of cheddar cheese, throw that in the bowl. And then you're going to shred up a package of ham lunch meat and put like a cup of it in the bowl. Mix all that together with your mixer and then stick the bowl in the fridge for about a half an hour. So it's all going to firm up. Then you're going to take the rest of your shredded ham and put it on a sheet pan. And when your mixture is firmed up, you take it out of the bowl and make it into a ball. And then you just roll it around on that sheet pan. So the little pieces of ham coat the outside of your cheese ball. For best results, you want to make it a day in advance because all those flavors are going to meld together really well overnight. And then we serve it with crackers. Our favorite to serve this with is chicken and biscuit. That's the traditional one, but it's also good with Ritz. We usually have a gluten-free cracker. Pretty much anything is good with it. This is originally Andy's mom's recipe, and she had chopped black olives in hers, and it's rolled, the cheese balls rolled in minced beef and parsley instead of ham. So he made a couple changes to it over the years, and I'm going to show you a picture that I took a couple of New Year's parties ago, and you can see that she also handed down to us this fancy cheese ball holder that we use at our gatherings for a cheese ball. But I was just recently on a trip with friends, and one of them brought a cheese ball on our trip, and he put it upside down in a Tupperware. So the cheese ball was resting on the lid, and then the top of the Tupperware was the lid. And I actually took a picture of that because I thought it was so genius. I couldn't help myself. And I thought it was amazing because now your cheese ball is transportable. So that was pretty fun. But that's about it. Do y'all have questions about the cheese ball? Comments?
I can attest to getting down on that cheese ball before. And I thought I made it, but I guess I haven't made it because I wouldn't have made it with ham, but I'd probably just have a different version, but yeah, it's very, very good.
I've never had a cheese ball actually. And this is like kind of an odd question, but like, how big is it when it's like served? Like, I'm trying to picture the size of this.
Your hands were about right. So
Okay.
like not quite as large as my head, but like it's a pretty hefty cheese ball.
That's awesome. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I just want to, can I say something else about a cheese ball? Because I do, I like to make cheese balls. I mean, you can tell with the ingredients I use that could be a cheese ball. But
yeah, I thought about that. Similar.
Yeah. Last summer, I was making some poppers with, jalapenos and cream cheese and melted. And as I was eating, and I said, this could be a cheese ball. So I ended up making later use the same ingredients and made it into a ball, and it was real good. So
I'm glad that you said that because the cheese ball that my friend brought on our trip was actually a pizza flavored cheese ball. So you can do like multiple things with this, and there's lots of ways you could play around with it. I think you just have to have that basic like cream cheese and then some other cheese base with a little bit of mayo maybe. And I think at that point you can just go any direction with it. So it's actually a fun little recipe that you can adapt as well. All right, well, we want to thank you all for watching Recipe Share, and be sure to click the link below to look at the event page on aadl.org to find the recipes we talked about and to share your own in the comments. Join us next time when we'll be talking about vegan meals. We're looking forward to seeing what you've been making, so thanks for sharing.